All right, we are back here on Crossover Thursday, and Hugh, we got to talk about what each team is going to have to do to win
Yeah.
this football game and start this season off 1-0 on this Crossover Thursday, but is presented by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. So, obviously, again, you guys are the away team, so we're going to start with you guys. What are going to be the three things that you think that the Raiders have to do in order to win this football game on Sunday?
It's funny, man, because I think about this all the time. I mean, obviously, every week we think about, what is it going to take for the team to get the victory? But for this team, the theme all season, as far as I'm concerned, one, they've got to stay on schedule, right? And I don't think I've ever said that as as one of the keys of the game is staying on schedule. But for this team and this offense in particular, it's going to be so important. The false starts, the holding penalties, the negative plays, the taking sacks or whatever, delay of games. They had multiples of those in the preseason. That's not going to fly. This team, and I know Raider Nation doesn't like it when I say it, this team offensively is not going to be good enough to overcome that. They're just not. They have to be sound. They have to stay on schedule in this Luke Getsy offense. They have to be able to get the ball to their playmakers, but they have to have second and 5, second and 6, not third and 11 or second and 20. And those are just going to be drive killers for this team. So they've got to make sure that they stay on schedule. And I know it's not going to happen all the time. There's going to be times where they have issues, but this team is going to struggle to overcome those issues. So staying on schedule is going to be the biggest key for this team if they want to win this game or any other game throughout the course of the season. The other big key for the Raiders and this offense to have an opportunity to thrive is for Gardner Minshew to make good decisions, right? I mean, he can't turn the ball over. He can't leave the pocket too soon. He's got to understand where the play is supposed to develop, how to get it to the playmakers, and they have plenty. I don't think Gardner Minshew in the course of his career, whether it's in Jacksonville, Philadelphia, Indianapolis, now with the Raiders, I don't think he's ever had as many playmakers as he has right now. So he has an opportunity to have a really good season, but he's got to be the best version of himself. And the thing I've been really stressing is, what are you going to be consistently? Like, I don't need you to be a 10 and then a 3 and then a 5 and then a 9 and then a 6 and then a 2. I need you to give me at least a 7, right? If you can be a 7 consistently, I think Antonio Pierce and the Raiders will take that. They'll say, you know what? That's cool, especially with they're going to have a heavy dose of the running game. Zamir White, Alexander Madison, all this is going to play a part, and that's part of the running game is part of the staying on schedule because they're definitely going to want to put a lot of Zamir White into the mix so they keep the pressure off of Gardner Minshew and what he's trying to do offensively. And then the third thing, the biggest key for the Raiders is on the other side of the ball. Defensively, they just got to stop the run. They've got to be able to stop the run. It's something they struggled with in the preseason, as I mentioned before. They've got to show that was just a vanilla defense and they weren't really working on it. And it's not scheme or personnel struggles, right? I mean, if they can't stop the run, not only are they going to struggle this week against against the Chargers, but Jim Harbaugh's brother, John Harbaugh in Baltimore, is coming up week 2. They're going to want to run the rock as well. So, I mean, there's so many teams that if you see this team can't stop the run, you're going to do that. You're not going to put your quarterback in harm's way. So, 2 things offensively, stay ahead of the schedule, stay ahead of the sticks. Gardner Minshew has to be smart with the ball, and then the defense got to be able to stop the run. If they could do those 3 things consistently, feel good about it, get the defense off the field where they're not on the field all day long, they have a really good chance to win this game. And I feel like they have a chance to win a lot of games if they can stick to that recipe. It's what happens when adversity hits is going to be the biggest question. So when you look at the Raiders, that's really what I think are the biggest 3 keys for success coming up on Sunday. When you look at the Chargers, what are you looking at? What are some of the 3 keys that you're looking at for this game coming up?
Yeah, so the 3 keys I got for this game for the Chargers, they absolutely have to do if they want to win this football game is, first and foremost, do not let Max Crosby derail this offense because he has the ability to do so. Obviously, Joe Alt is the 5th overall pick for the Chargers, and he is going to be out of the frying pan and into the fire going up against one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. So welcome to the NFL, kid. Go try and block Max Crosby, okay? But obviously don't leave him on an island every single snap. Go, you guys have the Chargers have one of the better blocking tight ends in the league with Will Dissly. I do expect he'll probably be on that side, providing some assistance to Joe Alt from time to time. The second thing is establish the running game. Got to run the rock. If Jim Harbaugh wants to bring that identity of physicality, then it has to be something they stick with and they are consistent. But that means that the run blockers, the offensive line, the tight ends, the wide receivers, everybody has got to be on schedule, doing their job, and being there with great timing. That's all going to be very, very important for the Chargers to establish that running game. And then the defense has to be connected, Q. The too much in the past where the Chargers defense so disjointed and allowed so many explosive plays on the ground and through the air. They can't have the broken coverages and the misassignments in the running game and the passing game. You can't give the easy completions to Gardner Minshew and the Raiders offense. Those are the three things to me that I feel like the Chargers have to do if they want to win this game on Sunday.
No, those are really good ones. I mean, really, because Max Crosby, he wrecked practice. Every practice in training camp. Like there's times they just had to take him out because he was wrecking practice, right? He wasn't allowed to get any work in. So yeah, I mean, stopping him from wrecking the game is a big key. And if that does happen, if the Chargers are successful in doing that, obviously they'll have a big focus on that. That means someone else has got to step up. I mentioned Malcolm Kuntz, Christian Wilkins, whatever. Somebody else has to step up and say, hey, if they're going to focus on him, let me go ahead and eat. You mentioned the short passing game. It's a West Coast offense led by Luke Getsy. It's about, the good timing on the passes, getting the ball out of his hands, and boom, getting the easy completions, as you mentioned, to guys like Devontae, Jacoby Myers, and others. So that'll be a big key. If you could take those away and limit them, that'll be, a good day at the office for the Chargers defense. And, the run game, again, that's going to be one of the biggest keys, I think, for both teams, right?
I agree.
Both teams really want to run the ball, have a heavy emphasis on it. It's funny. I've been talking about the Raiders need to find a way to score 24 points. I can see this game being where neither one of these teams score 24 points, that both of these teams score under 20 because it's going to be a lot of ball control, a lot of running the rock, a lot of physicality in the trenches. And, I mean, that makes for, I feel like, a good Sunday afternoon football game.